Hi, everybody. This is Brooke, Conversations with Brooke. So, today we are going to talk about a question I get asked a lot. Um, as always, what I'm here to do is really share with you guys some experiences about what I went through growing up in a cult for over 25 years. And hopefully, um, you'll share this with other people that may be able to uh, get some information and closure and help in healing. Today, what I really wanted to do was talk about um, getting other people out. So, a question that I've been asked is, how do you get other people out? How do you get family members out? And I don't know that you can. That's the truth. I know that there's people out there that have done things like snapping. That's one of the words that they call it. Um, Deprogramming. There's a lot of risk by doing that. You're taking somebody who is probably legally an adult out of a situation where they are um, where they want to be. And we can talk about the fact that they're being brainwashed and everything else, but it's about as similar as it's like being in an incredibly abusive relationship. When you have somebody who's in an abusive relationship, you can't necessarily get them out of it. And I don't know that talking or all the different things are necessarily going to do it. Now, I didn't just do this video just to say, sorry, you're screwed, there's nothing you can do. I decided that I wanted to share what I think can help. First off, this is more from you have to understand what's going on within that situation, and that person is living in a place that they don't feel like they have another way out. They feel like what they're doing is spiritually their best choice, and they also have a lot of fear going into what they're doing. So they're being controlled by fear. So what are things that is going to give that person a different understanding or let them see things differently? Well, it may be their own life situation that starts to open them up. Most of the people that I talked to didn't have an overnight wake-up call from what they came out of. I know that I didn't. I know that a lot of the people I know didn't. It was the little things over time that began changing things for me, and seeing that what I was in was really unhealthy, and seeing all the dysfunction. And even after getting out, it was a while before I realized the gravity of how bad the situation was and how much abuse and control. And it's been years of working on myself to really get to the other side of it. So if you have a family member who's in, one of the things is the people within are also poisoning them against you. Whether that's because they're saying that their faith is more important and that their ways to God and people outside don't understand and are not on the same path and are not going to end up in God's castle, or whatever version it is. That's an example. So, or they're poisoning them directly against you, saying that there's something about you that they need to stay away from. So there may be a fear. I remember, even a while after I got out, I've had people who told me directly or indirectly that I was full of it when I referred to what I grew up in as a cult. And I'm sure they talk negatively about me, and I have to not care about that, and I have to make what I do for other people outside more important. When you look back into those situations, you feel like it's so clear. You're like, do you remember? So if you remember back in the early 90s, they had those pictures. And if you squinted and you kind of like crossed your eyes a little bit, all of a sudden this picture that had nothing in it, if you looked at it just right, all of a sudden it would come completely clear to you, and you could see this other image within the image. And it would be all of a sudden this dinosaur or this superstar or a superhero or a house. I mean, but up until that moment, you're staring right at it. And you're looking. And I remember when these first came out, and I was like, there's nothing fucking there. And sitting and staring at these fucking pictures, going, like, crossing my eyes and trying to figure out how to see it. And I couldn't see it until finally one day it just, like, popped out at me. And it was like, oh my God. That's what happens. When you're in one of these religious environments, all of a sudden you're going to get out, and you may leave for all different kinds of reasons, and then one day it's going to be completely clear to you how dysfunctional it was, and that you were wrong. But when you were in there, you were so sure that everything about it aligned with who you were. And then you grow and you realize it was not that way, but you have to understand that person who's still in there, they don't see it that way. They're still unable to see the bigger picture. And you can't force them, you can't make them cross their eyes the right way, you can't. The only thing that you can do with somebody who's still in there is love them and put up boundaries if you need to. And what I mean by that is, my grandparents knew forever that we were in one. My grandparents were always loving, and my grandmother wanted nothing more than just to have a relationship with her grandchildren. And there was a lot of things that they would do for us. And then there was a lot of things they didn't do because they knew that the leaders were pulling strings and trying to manipulate them. So there was times that my parents would go to my grandparents for different things that my grandparents absolutely said absolutely not, that they wouldn't do. But there was a lot of times that my dad would go and ask for things, or if one of their grandchildren went and asked, they were open to it. They were always loving. I wish I would have had enough of a relationship that there would have. Part of it is you don't feel like when you're in that environment, you don't feel like there's anywhere to go because you don't feel like there's anybody that understands. You don't feel like there's anybody who's non-judgmental. And in that moment, if you're transitioning, you're going from being in something in an incredible amount of insecurity to not knowing what's real, and you don't know that there's anybody you can share it with, and you've probably been holding shit in for a very long time. So it's not like you're going to all of a sudden jump out and start telling everybody about what's been going on. So to be there for somebody who's inside, it may be above and beyond what most people will do to love them through what they're going through and to be there through it. Because they may cause you more damage if you're on the outside. And if you've come out of it, that's very difficult. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I know a lot of people who've tried to get people out, and it's not likely. The most you're going to do is change your life and save yourself. And I wish we could all go save everybody, but unfortunately the truth is we can't save other people a lot of the time. The most we can do is save ourselves. And in doing that, you will inspire other people. The stronger you become within yourself, the more that you're going to grow and inspire other people. And it may not be the people that you want, but it may be the people that need it. There's a lot of people who've come up to me since I've left, and just, it's not the people I ever thought that would ever come up to me and thank me for things that they've thanked me for, just because I have worked so hard to heal myself. That's what you can do, is you can work so hard to become the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, and I guarantee you that it will help people around you. But I don't know that you can get other people out of a bad situation. But if you want to connect with me, I'm more than happy to have a conversation about it. I always tell everybody, if you want to get a free life blueprint, that's one of the tools that I use to help people. You can always go to my website. It's 100yearsofbliss.com. And I look forward to connecting with you, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.